Growing up in East Tennessee was better than anything that I could ask for. The house I grew up in backed up to woods where I could play and explore. Everyone I'd ever known lived within an hour or so of me, and I had a family that I loved who taught me everything I know about how to be a person. And that's where Manufactured Luck must have started. My name is Kevin Keck, and I'm the writer and director of Manufactured Luck. I never knew my mom's dad, Jim Henry. I've known him only through the memories of others and the rare photos and mere seconds of film that survive of him and his small-town tobacco farm in Calhoun, Tennessee. Later, I would highlight this farm and highlight him in Manufactured Luck by using some of those photos in the film's opening sequence. But to me, these memories kickstarted my obsession with understanding people through their stories and looking for their humanity. That really intensified when my dad's dad, Glenn Keck, passed away. A restaurant owner and avid contester, he really was the inspiration for the character of Jim in Manufactured Luck. I wouldn't say that Manufactured Luck is in any way autobiographical, but he certainly inspired the character in more ways than one. He was the epitome of impactful and memorable. I reached out to a local radio DJ, Ken Hansard, to voice the radio announcer at the beginning of the film. And not only did she remember him from the many contests he'd entered throughout the years, but she helped our film because of how much he meant to her. And that just, for me, really sums up what he meant to a lot of people. I was touring different festivals with a producing partner of mine and my short film, American Letters. And on the road, we would talk a lot about our grandfathers. His had recently passed away. That got me thinking about the idea of legacy and what it meant to leave something behind. It was late in 2018 when I sat down to write that first draft of Manufactured Luck. The first draft looked pretty similar to how the story ended up being told, but from there it took kind of this wide series of detours, and I changed certain elements. Ash was a boy, then a girl. Ash had a big family, and then it was just Ash and her mom and her granddad. Ash was extroverted, then introverted. In one draft, even Ash's mother died. But no matter the changes, I kept circling back to the same story that I loved. A young girl and her grandfather bond over a supermarket sweepstakes. That was it. That's what stuck with me. But sadly, the project just over time seemed to lose steam and things fell apart, and it ended up in storage on my desktop. I moved back home and fell in love with telling stories set in the East Tennessee region. I mean, to me, there's no other place like it. Knoxville is tucked away into the mountains, but it has become this storytelling and creative hub in so many ways, and music and art, even though The Simpsons did poke fun at it at one point in time.
I hate this place.
When Brandon and Adam expressed interest in working on a project in the fall of 2020, I knew I wanted to present something intimate and vulnerable, like the region I knew it was going to be set in. So we looked at a few scripts, but Manufactured Luck just seemed ready for this new life. Our crowdfunding campaign ended up being a great test of how this story would be received. And there was just so much love and support from the friends and the family and the community, even total strangers. Lucas Ferrara came on as our executive producer, and we met our goal for crowdfunding. I even remember there was this sort of moment where I was like, oh crap, we're actually going to make this thing. We pulled together this just kind of all-star crew. I got this real sense that people felt drawn to the type of story that we were telling, whether it's people that Adam had worked with on different sets, or people that I'd worked with on American Letters, or even people that I just knew from high school. Then came the cast. Peter, Azra, Amelia, the townspeople. It just felt like this big reunion of people who wanted to work on something creative in a way that kept the cast and crew small, so that we could afford the amount of tests that were needed. When it came time to look for locations, I wanted it to feel as close to what I remembered from my childhood as possible. We found a house that reminded me a lot of my grandparents' house, and we were able to actually film at the restaurant where my grandparents met, which was this really cool honor to be able to bring this story to life in the places that had these real events that inspired the events of the film. 3 long 12-hour days later, and we came away with a film that captures the feeling that I felt in those conversations years earlier. Those memories. It was just really cool to see all that happen from the director's chair. For me, it has been so rewarding to see this film come together, and every person from pre-production to production and post-production in LA and in Tennessee has really brought this story to life. But more importantly, each person made this story their own. And as we get ready to send this film out into the world, I know that there's a town and a family of filmmakers and storytellers who will be traveling with it in spirit. And that's all any filmmaker could ever ask for.